Buenos dias, and happy alt season relief, at least. I think it's way too early to take victory laps at this point, but it definitely feels good to see altcoins bouncing. I think our patience has been stress tested, and if you're not a delusional crypto believer like I am, then you probably got washed out or just lost interest in the industry. But if you're still here, an Cito viewer, and are still following crypto, are still following Cosmos, are still following things that are evolving in this industry, then you deserve this pump and a lot more. May this only be the beginning of the greatest altcoin rally in the history of crypto. And what you're already seeing is new TGEs hitting the market, which also means airdrops. And in today's video, I have two brand new airdrops, one of which, if you hold a Celestine Sloth, you can claim right now, and it's actually a decent amount. But first off, we've just announced the first 10 speakers at Cosmoverse 2025. We, of course, have Interchain Labs in full swing, represented with co-CEOs Mac, Barry, and also CMO Nico. Then OG, Cosmos co-founder and CEO at Informal Systems and Cycles, Ethan Buckman, and one person that I'm personally very, very proud that he is joining us, Billy Rennekamp, absolute OG. You probably know him from interviews we've done here 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He used to be the Cosmos Hub lead at the Interchain Foundation and is now the CEO and founder at Trifle, which is a gaming and NFT project. So we're going to meet Billy again. Then Vlaho and Antonio. Vlaho and Antonio are actually co-founders at Blocksplit, and Vlaho is also a lawyer and also the founder of the Croatia Blockchain Association. So we're making strong connections also in Croatia, in the Balkans. Also a potential new star founder in Cosmos, Ivan Miskovic, who is the co-founder at Cytonic, which is an AI play, but they're a full-on Cosmos SDK blockchain, full-on IBC compatible, currently in testnet, but eventually they will go on mainnet. And this is the new generation of Cosmos founders we also want to showcase at the conference. Then Darren Kamas, founder at iProfusion, which is a DeFi project on Ethereum. Darren is an absolute OG, a great friend of mine. He's been around for over 10 years in crypto, so he has seen absolutely everything. And then lastly, also Anina Milanovic. She is the head of international cooperation and development at the Serbian SEC. So regulator from the Balkans, we have everything represented, and this is only the start. We have a lot more. Usually at Cosmoverse, we have around 100, 120 speakers across 2 stages. And this is only the first wave of headline speakers for Cosmoverse 2025, taking place late October. Split, Croatia, the place to be, especially also the hotel venue where everything takes place. And we also have special rates, 105 euros a night if you book your room right there. And we have a lot more partners, many of them that have been partners of us over the past couple of years, that will be participating this year again. Well, the market is relieving, also due to new regulatory clarity, new bills that have passed in the US. And this positively affects all the US-based companies and projects, especially any project based in the US that has remotely anything to do with stablecoins. And of course, the big one out there is XRP, that has been on an absolute run. If you just look at the price, XRP, currently at $3.43, which is absolutely crazy. $200 billion market cap just crossed. Now just a bit over a 2x away from Ethereum, from flipping Ethereum. And I remember when I got into crypto, XRP was always number 2, right? XRP has been around way longer than Ethereum has. And XRP always used to be number 2 until Ethereum flipped it, and then XRP lost a bunch of ranks. But now it's back, and it's on an absolute killer run right now. And yeah, congratulations to the XRP army. I have sold all the XRP that I had. I had a lot of XRP in like 2017, 18, and just sold all of it. But yeah, those that held, congratulations. What I did buy, though, is also why I just had the chart open, is Hedera HBAR. And I bought a lot of HBAR in 2020, around that time as well. I think I remember doing a video back then where I said I was selling all my Polkadot and all my Cardano ADA into Hedera HBAR and Cosmos Hub and Atom. So I did that switch back then, and since then I've held all my HBARs. I have staked them also when staking with Stellar Labs came out, when the HBAR Foundation was formed, and we actually did a lot of content around it. We also did an interview with Dr. Lehman Barrett, with young Cito here. This is from like 3 years ago. Yeah, September of 2021. And we've been covering HBAR a year and a half before that. So yeah, definitely an interesting project. And also, why I mentioned that is because it is actually the largest position in my portfolio, in my liquid portfolio right now, by far actually the largest position after this run, of course, that HBAR had. If other coins go on a crazy rally like HBAR, then they would probably unflip it. But HBAR coin I have been holding for the past nearly 5 years now. So yeah, it's still in my possession as a non-Cosmos play. And then also I have a couple of EWT, Energy Web. I still have Hydration also, which is a substrate project. I also have bought Space and Time SxT, which I just did an interview with the co-founder that is dropping very soon as well. I do have non-Cosmos plays, but most of my portfolio, of course, is in Cosmos ecosystem tokens, such as Akash AKT, which is actually my largest Cosmos holding, Atom, of course, also out there, Saga, which I've also been an investor in. And in fact, for all Cito Plus members, we are sharing a breakdown of our portfolio. So this is my portfolio breakdown here with some numbers for my liquid portfolio, which is important to mention as well. So excluding Cito Ventures portfolio. And then also here, Tang dropped his portfolio, also his strategies, what he's doing, and Sepmos as well. So I'm actually going to update these numbers over the weekend. And then all Cito Plus members will have a full overview of our holdings and also our biases, right? Now, if you look at the Cosmos ecosystem performances, we're seeing slight relief as well. And Atom now 51% loading the $10 pack. So $10 is kind of where I think everyone in Cosmos is at least sleeping well again and breathing normally. $5.10 is nice to see the 5 again, but we're still far away from anywhere where we say like, man, this is exciting, this is bullish, this is cool. Atom is finally getting traction, is finally getting momentum. This is just damage relief or damage control. But things look well, I think, on the outside. Of course, there has been this large announcement last week with the abandoning of the EVM integration on the Cosmos Hub. Permissionless EVM contracts are not happening on the Cosmos Hub anymore. I actually just did an interview that I published here on this channel yesterday with co-CEO Mac from Interchain Labs on why they did this move. Also my personal concerns and thoughts around it that I shared very directly with Mac, and what this means for Atom. What does this mean for the Cosmos Hub? How it's going to be positioned from here on. So strongly encourage you to watch this video, listen to this interview. It is 49 minutes. If you watch on 1.5 or 2x, it's like less than half an hour. So strongly encourage you to do that. Other than that, we're seeing more relief. Say Network, also shout out here, 36 cents, have been on a run as well, a big run actually, also because they have now integrated native USDC. So they're actually moving away from Noble. They have actually been the largest user or client or economic partner for Noble in recent months, but now they have their own native USDC issuance on the Say Network blockchain, which means Say is not reliant on Noble to provide stablecoin liquidity anymore. And pair this with the fact that these bills have just passed. Say is a US-based project. We just did an interview also with Jay, the co-founder at Say Network, also why they're abandoning Cosmos technology. They have already ceased support for the Cosmoverse smart contract platform, and they're also going to change their consensus algorithm to Autobahn from Tendermint or Comet BFT. And with that also, it will make it less compatible with IBC. I'm trying my best to speak to Jay, to speak to the team, to see like whether there's demand or interest to at least connect via IBC Rika. Of course, the Interchain Labs team is also having those conversations. But anything that I can do here in my, of course, limited power as a content creator or someone who is active in the space, I will do my best to contribute that Say is still Cosmos aligned underneath. That would be my goal. Of course, I'm a big fan of Say. I have invested into Say, been in contact with the team since nearly 4 years now, so a very long time. I think 2021. They actually had their coming out of stealth at Cosmoverse Medellin in 2022, August 2022, sorry, September 2022, which I think is a historic event that I want to also keep up and hope that they consider joining us this year again. Besides that, TIA above $2, but still far from out of the woods. Injective has had a nice run, $14 right now. DYDX, 68 cents, which I bought a bunch of them at 50 cents. I have also shared this in our channel when I bought it like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Also bought TIA at $1.35. Akash, I bought a lot in the 2023 bear market, so I bought a lot here at around 20, 25 cents. Osmo, I bought at 14 cents, and I have mentioned all of this here, and I said this is a ride or die thing. Either this is going to zero now, and I'm getting totally wrecked, or we see some short-term relief, and we're seeing that right now, which is good to see. One coin that I bought that I got a little bit wrecked, actually big time, is Stride STRD. I bought it like literally 3 days before the announcement came out that they're not going to deploy the Stride DEX anymore. I bought it at around 22 cents, while everything else went up 40, 50%. I'm down bad on my Stride. But I have still faith in Stride team, Riley, Aiden. I think they are very, very smart, ambitious guys. And we'll see what their next steps are. But right now they are back to the drawing board. It will be interesting to see what comes out. Also, Sentinel, shout out. They have been also recovering slightly still. Again, far, like many of these coins, far from out of the woods. $7 million market cap, Agoric, $6 million market cap, Flix, $5 million. Like, those market caps are tiny. Stargaze, $3 million. Like, absolutely wrecked in the long term. And I'm down bad on many of these positions. But as I've said, throughout the past year and a half, there was never a phase of 3 or 4 weeks that I haven't delivered a video here on this channel. And so, you know, if you've been watching over the years, that I held up this deep conviction. But of course, the Cosmos of 2025 is very different to the Cosmos of even 2023 or 2022, of course, but 2023, 2024. Cosmos is changing a lot. Crypto is changing a lot all the time. There's new narratives popping up, new coins popping up, other coins that get into trouble, like did, like Rune did for a time, right? Like FMOS did. So you have to always adjust, and you have to really see this as a minefield of early stage ideas and startups, many of which will fail. In fact, 98% of them will fail, but those that win can be life-changing. And that's my true conviction. That's how I have been thinking about crypto for the past 7 years that I'm now in this industry, entered in 2017. So it's my 8th year, actually. And yeah, so far so good. But of course, the past 6 months, as I said, have been tough as well on my end. Personally, it's everything goes down only. Not only the portfolio, but also viewership, interest, sentiment, right, has been super low. And you don't have a public event to attribute this down only to, right? Like, there wasn't a major hack, there wasn't a major blow up, there was nothing that we could say, okay, this is why we're going down now. But I feel like now sentiment has been bottomed out so badly, and there were people out there that have left at the bottom that have said, okay, now I'm gonna convert all my altcoins into Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin was at 100K and their altcoins were down 99%. So they surrendered their altcoin belief, but we did not do that. We stick to our deep convictions, fundamental convictions, and so far so good, right? Of course, this can go down a lot further from here, but so far so good, and we'll keep monitoring the situation. Also, again, please watch this video with Mac, very insightful, also with Jay. And if you listen, maybe even both videos, I think you get a very good sense of how Cosmos works, right? Because on the one hand, you have a very, very successful sovereign Cosmos built blockchain that is focused on one specific use case, in that case, building the fastest and best EVM chain out there. And then you have the new leadership that is actually thinking, okay, how can we be positioned as an organization, but also position the Cosmos Hub and Atom as a chain to capture value in the future by offering services to builders like Jay, that would make sense, right? That would add value to them, and that will also capture value for Atom and for the organization itself. So listen to that and let me know also your feedback. Now, we did a full recap also on why the Cosmos Hub abandoned its EVM plans on the Cito zone, where we also just had a huge Polaris C2Earn campaign, and we have more C2Earn campaigns coming up. So we're aggressively rolling out C2Earn as well, which I think is one of the best products in all of crypto, because it has very low entry barriers, and you can participate by creating quality content, by being an engaged community member and contributor, and you can earn money, right? You can earn coins, you can earn stables, you can earn NFTs. So yeah, always follow C2 Zone. We always deliver not only quality content, not only a newsletter, not only a community, but also ways for you to earn money. And big shout out to Sebmos, who has been a huge value add to the Cito Zone team over the past year and a half since he joined, alongside Tang, who is an absolute weapon. But Sebmos also very, very deep conviction and fundamental conviction. Navigating a team throughout a bear market is also not easy, because sometimes you have people being just demotivated, being, frustrated about the market movements. But we stick together, all of us, and whether it's for customers, whether that's for the Cito Zone or Stakecito, we stick together and we managed to get through these times, and here we are. And I think we're coming out of this stronger and more united than ever. But yeah, also as Sebmos was saying, nothing has changed in the regard that buying Atom after Skip, the Skip acquisition has always been the bet of the team. So, and this literally, I said something to Mark on the interview as well. It's like the Cosmos or Atom's thesis at this point is also a lot of faith and trust in Mark and Barry to ship something and to make the Cosmos Hub and Atom great again. And considering they have $250 million in treasury, which means a 10+ year runway, 40 people working on it, a dedicated team for the Cosmos Hub as well, and strong connections and networks to the Initias out there, the Ondos, Starknets, and many others, I think we'll see something will come out of that. Now, moving on, we also have builders like Daniel coming out and saying, you know, a lot of people are telling me, oh, Cosmos is cooked, you have to leave the ecosystem. But he's coming out with a big statement saying that they chose the SDK, and every month since they have been more confident in that decision. Also, because he's saying Cosmos is for those that want to build Web3 infra. If you want to focus on stablecoins or user wallets, then use or deploy as a EVM rollup. If you want to launch DeFi or meme coins, then use Solana. But if you want to build Web3 infra, use Cosmos. And there are many such cases of true conviction builders in Cosmos. Some of them are more publicly, representing Cosmos, and some of them are not. And I think either way is totally fine, right? That's also the whole point about Cosmos. Now, another Cosmos project that has not really had a run so far, in fact, it's massively underwhelming for most people out there, is Babylon when you look at the price only, right? I think the fact that they have delivered Bitcoin staking and generated like $4.5 billion in TVL is impressive. But the Babylon, the baby token FDV at around $500 million right now, with the price being flat while everything else was pumping, is still underwhelming. However, they have now announced the first 10 BSN, Bitcoin secured or supercharged networks, how they're called now, with Sui being the biggest one, of course, by far. Then we have Korn, Bob, Osmosis, TAC, that is just announced and just went on mainnet as well. Union, Plume, Manta, Birdlayer, and NodeOps. And many of them are actually full-on Cosmos SDK chains like TAC, Osmosis, or Union. And some of them are not, right? And I think that Babylon will have to really deliver on the promise to build out this BSN ecosystem. And that's also why they have now deployed the Cosmos EVM as part of their chain architecture. But yeah, we'll see how much economic activity that will accrue, or value that will accrue for also the Babylon chain, and eventually also for the baby token. But still early days, still too early to call. Definitely one project to put in your radar. Also remember, David is a Stanford professor. This is also a US project. So there might also be this meta narrative around there. Another one that is actually originally Canadian, I guess, because Jelena is Canadian, but actually Canadian-Serbian. But now also I think they're spending most of their time in the US, is Noble, the stablecoin chain or native asset chain in Cosmos, that is also about to launch their token. They also have TGE coming up. You can currently farm points there. We have announced it when it went live, literally the day it went live. We announced it here on the channel. And they have now made a new all-time high, $722 million of stablecoins issued on Noble Chain, 52 IBC connections and 6 issuers, of which Circles USDC is one of them. Then they have Ondos USDY, and they also have their own stablecoin with USDN, the Noble dollar. So 1 billion is loading, and big congratulations for this success so far, Jelena and team. And we're going to see more of that in the coming weeks and months. Then we also have some news from Stargaze, which is a coin I've been holding forever. And I got some NFTs. I'm a Stargaze user. I think it's one of the best products in Cosmos. But the token has just been brutally destroyed over the past 2 years, I would say. There was also a lot of internal dramas with Jake Hartnell, the ex-co-founder of Stargaze, who then went on to Juno Network, then from there actually also left Juno and is building now something on Ethereum. But Stargaze, the Stars token, apparently they have some massive burn coming up, at least that's what it looks like, so we're going to keep you posted there as well. Same for Passage, that's a coin that has also been brutally destroyed, also because NFTs gaming has just been an ice-cold narrative, but they're still here. I actually just had a call with Lex the other day, and I recorded an interview with him. I was invited in the Passage world to walk through the world. We did some quest hunting, and we're just chatting about Cosmos, creating YouTube, everything, right? And navigating through the bear market. So that one is also coming, and hopefully Strange Clan will deliver a cool game sometime soon. And hopefully with it also the Passage token and Strange Clan NFTs can also catch a bit. Now, I want to wrap up the video with a quick round of announcements. Number one, Space and Time. Again, a project I've been bullish about for some time, but never really deeply following it or covering it. However, that is changing now because I just did an interview with Scott Dykstra, the co-founder and CTO at Space and Time. The full interview is actually dropping ASAP here on YouTube and on Twitter as well. And this is a very interesting project with close ties to Microsoft. I also asked Scott about this, and also, of course, about Cosmos, how it interoperates, what this means for Cosmos, making data available, and how Cosmos builders can also connect to Space and Time. So definitely an interesting project in the ZK data field. Very, very mid-curve, but that's a coin I've also been buying more of. I bought some at 7.5 cents, and I also just bought more of them last night at around 9 cents. So that's one I actually want to stack more of, and at a $460 million FTV, I think not the worst buy at least. Then we also have ICA coming up, where we're also very proud to announce with Stakecito that we're going to be in the validator set. Same for Space and Time, by the way. If you are holding SxT tokens, then you can stake and delegate to Stakecito. Same for ICA, which is a Move ecosystem project. So this is previously called D-Wallet, and now they are built on Move. They're part of the Sui ecosystem, basically. Finally, 2 airdrops that just came out. Number 1, the Eclipse ES airdrop that so far has been massively underwhelming and also fired back for a lot of people because the FTV was underwhelming and is currently at around $300 million only FTV, which of course a lot of people wanted a lot higher airdrop, and that's always the thing, right? And I think at this point, like, you will always be disappointed, right? Because either if you do an airdrop and you launch with a low FTV, that means that your airdrop is not worth much, right? But it also means that the retail community can actually buy, in many cases, even lower than the last valuation, which I think for Eclipse actually was the case. I'm not sure if the last valuation was disclosed, but I think this price is below the previous valuation that VCs have bought in. So low FTV means low airdrop, but also means retail can buy in lower than VCs. And then you have the other concept of high FTV, which means you probably have a bigger airdrop, but also you have a low float, and you have basically not given the chance to the retail community to buy the token on the market. So both ways have trade-offs, and those are the only 2 ways you can launch a token with. In any case, the Eclipse ES airdrop is now claimable if you have been tweeting about them, yapping about them, if you are a GitHub contributor or were active in their Discord, having any roles, or have been tapping on TurboTap, then you might be eligible for this airdrop. And finally, we have another surprise airdrop. That is the Caldera Era airdrop, which you can also claim right now if you are holding a Celestine Sloth NFT. If you have held that NFT throughout the bear market, then you can claim right now 380 tokens, and you have the same amount, so another 380 tokens that is auto locked and staked with, I'm not sure where or whom, but it is staked, and you can still claim that whenever the 90-day lockup is over. So staked for 90 days, and you only have 12 days now to claim this airdrop. So be quick. And the current price of the Era token is $1.47. So that's around $600 that you can claim right now for holding a Celestine Sloth. And that's actually also the rough price of what a Sloth costs right now. I think Sloth right now are like $800-900. So yeah, you can actually buy another Sloth with that, or you can buy, which is what I did. I bought some more SxT with that money. So I already cashed it out, and I bought some more SxT Space and Time tokens with that. Not sure if that is a good deal, but I think considering that Caldera this price has a 1.5 billion FTV, and I don't really know much about the project, to be very honest with you. I think SxT at a $460 million with their ties to Microsoft. However, note that this is a deep mid-curve project, so no idea if the ZK and data narrative is going to catch a bit in the cycle, but yeah, that's that. And Caldera, I think they're more Celestia aligned. They're this, I think, sequencer project. Also mid-curve, but I think they're more tied to Celestia and roll-ups and those kind of things. But yeah, we'll see. I just don't really know much about the project, and I'm just very glad I got a decent airdrop out of nowhere, unexpected. So that's that for today. I've enjoyed the video. Space and Time interview coming very soon with Scott Dykstra, co-founder and CTO. Big shout out to the Hedera HBAR team also for this nice pump. I'll gladly take that, and hope to see you at Cosmoverse in late October. Go get your tickets. General admission tickets are live right now, $69. And you can also book a hotel room at 105 euros a night. So you can get a full Cosmoverse experience this year at like less than 700 euros from anywhere in Europe, including flights, right? So let's say return flights is 200 euros. 1 night at a hotel, 105. If you come for 3 nights, that's 315 euros. And then the ticket is like 60 euros, $69. Less than $700, you get the full experience from anywhere in Europe. And I think this is very appealing and an absolute no-brainer for many people, especially in this market. So I'll see you in a bit later this year, and see you very soon here on Cryptocito. Until then, stay safe and be good.